I wanted to be a part of Psyche Inspired because I have a previous background in the arts, but now I do STEM. And in going through that sort of transition process, I realized that I really liked being able to combine my love of arts and STEM because I think a lot of people sometimes view them as like opposite ends of a pole when really they're so conjoined constantly. I think that they're always overlapping, and I really wanted to work with a program that sort of reflected that same sort of like blurring together of the lines where I could talk about or combine my love for like science and space science in specific, but also be able to, engage with my artistic side, like writing and drawing and stuff like that. So I hope that my work sort of reflects my passion for making science really accessible. And I hope that it, when people look at my work, they can see that I'm trying to create a piece that can get people interested in these projects and these missions, by making work that's like more artistic or more accessible. Maybe people will say, oh, maybe I've never heard about the Psyche mission. I've never heard about this mission or this mission. And in, um, looking at these art pieces, maybe it'll sort of spark an interest in what, what space science does and what it aims to do. Because I think a lot of people think about it in the back of their mind, but it's not really something that they're engaged with, and it doesn't even have to be a special interest. I just think that it's important for us to acknowledge how important the work um, that goes into space science is, and I hope that my sort of work reflects how special it is, and um, how it surrounds all of us, even if we don't think about it. I think my biggest takeaway had to be it's so important to work with a group of people who are also passionate about what they do. Um, I know there was definitely weeks where I was like either questioning my project or I didn't know what I was going to do. And I think that seeing everybody else um, so passionate about what they were doing kind of helped me in being confident in what I was doing. Like, yeah, I actually do want to do this. It's not as bad as I'm thinking. Um, and I think also it helps me in being able to continue forward just in my career as well. Like I want to be passionate about what I'm doing, and it is helpful when I see that other people are also passionate because it gives me hope that like okay, your sort of work and your team doesn't have to just be this like we go in, we clock out, whatever. Like you can have fun in what you're doing. Yeah, I think Psyche Inspired definitely taught me to like look at things from a different angle. Like I talked about, sometimes there were times where I was unsure about what projects I wanted to do or if it was a good idea or whatever. And I feel like for some of the projects, I had to sort of think about it differently and be like, well, what if I do things this way? Or what if I tried this? Or what if I try this? And just not being afraid of trying different things, even if I think that I might not be good at it. Um, and then the other thing I think that was also really important that I learned being in Psyche Inspired is that you're going to just in this program and in life meet a lot of different and interesting people, and there's no harm in reaching out to people. There's no harm in like asking people questions. There's, like people love talking. They love talking about what they're passionate about. And, they're just really, it's either that nothing can happen or that everything can happen if you like try to reach out to people, to make connections, to ask for opinions, to ask for opportunities, to do all that stuff. So I think it's really helpful in like sort of teaching you the communication part of like being in a team. I think the biggest one is to not constrain your ideas of what your project should be. It I feel like you can definitely go into the program having an idea of like, oh, maybe I want to do this or maybe I want to do this. But I know there were certainly a lot of times where people on our team wanted to do something and ended up not being able to do it. And they didn't like beat themselves up over it. They just kind of moved on and said, you know what, I'm going to try this other thing instead. So I think it's really important in understanding that um, you can be really fluid with what you're doing. That's why you have a team. It's so you can have feedback and so you don't have to work in this really, sort of structured way. The other really, really important thing I think I learned, check your Slack definitely every day was like the biggest thing. Yeah, those are my two big pieces of advice.